Mr.
Thank you
Steve.
so
How are
much
you
for
today?
joining.
Yeah.
Very well, thank you.
All right, great. Good day to you. I don't know whether it's morning or evening or afternoon, wherever you are. We know you are also a globe trotter, so how are you doing today, ma'am?
It's 11 o'clock.
Yes, sir, we know. Please let's give about 5 more minutes before we start.
It's okay.
Good morning, ma'am.
The speaker is greeting you. Registrar. Registrar.
Hello, good Dr. Ajani. Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Thank you so much for joining. Good to see you.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you. I was busy chatting you up, trying to say you should join.
Oh,
Thank
well,
you.
I've been sitting here for about an hour, actually.
Yeah, thank
Yeah,
you.
I couldn't really sleep.
Until you get this over, thank you so much for the sacrifice. I appreciate it. Okay, we just give 5 minutes and we start, right? Registrar.
Prof. Ugoji, how are you? How's Benin today? How's Uniben today, sir?
Oh, I thought that I lost the audio. I didn't know that I was still.
You are in. You are in already, sir.
All right, thank you very much.
As the family, as the university community, thanks for also being active.
Fine.
We will
Yeah,
soon, we will come to Benin one of these days, maybe for conference or regional, whatever. So you'll be our chief host.
Against such, there is no law.
No problem.
Well,
We don't need visas to come.
yes, of course, yes. And there's no border to cross.
Have you?
Yes.
And no bandit to threaten us. Registrar, that's Professor Ugoji from University of Benin. Very consistent and very, very passionate about the institutes.
Oh,
It's time he joined.
Please.
Thank you very much,
Well,
Dr. Professor Ugoji.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, sir. It's good hearing your voice.
Yes, we always celebrate the barrister. The barrister is the engine of the house. We celebrate you always.
So it is 7
I
minutes
suggest
past 11.
we start immediately or that will join us so that we'll not be punishing people that come early. Thank you.
Absolutely. Okay. So on this note, it is my pleasure to welcome every one of us this beautiful day. It's not sunny really in Lagos, but it's not a wet day at least. So it's a bright, beautiful day in Lagos. And I do know on this call we have participants all across the different geographies across Nigeria. I just understood that we have participants from as far as Benin, other parts of Nigeria, Ogun State, Oyo State participants. And excitingly, we also have participants even outside of Nigeria, outside of Africa, as far as the United States, I think also Europe, all across are on this call this morning. So without wasting further time, we will be getting into the business of the day. So it's my pleasure, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, to welcome every one of us to our monthly webinar series of our great institute, the Institute of Leadership, Coaching, and Strategy. For us and as an institute, this is a very important part of our offering, which is continuous development, continuous learning. So on a monthly basis, we go far and wide to bring in resource persons to come talk to us, to come educate us, to come lead conversations around very important topics that cut across. So I'd quote my chairman, as he will always say, as leaders, we must always inspire before we expire, unquote. So as leaders, wherever we find ourselves, it is important that we continue to learn, we continue to upgrade, we continue to use our resources to inspire others and to lead the way it is. So on this note, without so much further ado, I'd like to welcome us to webinar series for July 2026, and it promises to be a very, very exciting one. As already displayed and as we have advertised so widely, the topic for this July webinar will be the AI Ready Leader, building strategy, trust, and innovation in a changing world. In a changing world. As leaders, we all understand that the world continues to change. And what we can do as leaders is to continue to see how we shape these changes so that the impact can be beneficial to every one of us and also the communities that we all represent. So this will be the conversation, the topic for conversation today. And again, in our usual style, we have looked through all the resources that we have available, and we have brought no person less than is very important and also apt to deliver on this topic today. Interestingly, again, the speaker for today is a member, is an associate, is a fellow, apologies, is a fellow of our great institute. So he's home with us, and I'm sure he'll be doing justice leading this conversation today. As usual, at the usual course of time, we'll be having opportunities to ask questions, to contribute to these conversations, and to see that every one of us leaves this session today better than we came in. Okay, so having said that, first things first, we'll take our national anthem, and immediately after that, we roll up to the next item on the agenda. So if you may, I would like for us, wherever we are, to just be at attention as we take our national anthem. And we will be taking the very first stanza of the anthem. And hopefully, probably when we're going to close, we may take another stanza. But because of time, we'll be taking the very first stanza of the national anthem. All right, after three, we can all go from our different locations. 1, 2, 3. Let's go. Nigeria, we
are all their native land. Don't try to make me
brother, we stand. Nigeria,
our brothers are sovereign motherland.
All right, great. Thanks, everyone. One of these days, we will find some time to do some voice training so that as an institute, I'm sure at a particular point in time, we will have a choral group that we go out and do competition. We're getting better and getting better. Thank you, everyone. The most important thing is the words of that affirmation, and I'm sure that every one of us as leaders will live to this word. All right, great. Let's just move to the next item quickly. And what I'll try to do quickly this morning is just to set the protocols so that as we move through the programs for the day, we just continue to stand or sit or rest, whichever you choose to do, on already existing protocols for the program. So, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, all members of our dear institute, on this call today, I would like to establish the protocol, and we have very, very all important. Everyone on this call is very, very important, but just for protocol purposes, I will be mentioning the presence of our president, the president and chairman of governing council of our institute, Dr. Olasokade Aziz, fellow Institute of Leadership, Coaching and Strategy. We have our vice president, Dr. Adebayo Odukoya, FILCS, We have our Registrar Chief Executive, Barrister Ifeoma Adeniyi, FILCS. We also have our National Treasurer, Dr. Olutoyin Sembore, FILCS. And all other council members here present, we want to welcome you. All committee chairmen here present, we acknowledge your presence. And all our regional coordinators from the south to the west to the east and central across Nigeria would like to welcome you. So on this note, we will be standing, or we will be affirming, and we'll be rolling on this existing protocol. And of course, like I mentioned earlier, first and foremost, and I'm going to mention that again, everyone on this call today, we are all distinguished, and it is our pleasure to welcome every one of us to this webinar today. As an institute, our vision, our mission, and our core values are very, very clear. I know we will be taking this to heart as we continue to navigate in our different areas as leaders. But it is important that every time we have the opportunities to come together again, we just highlight our vision, our mission, and our core values so that it gets reiterated again and it gets clearly written across our hearts. So for the purpose of this webinar today, I will just quickly read through. Our vision as an institute is to become a global reference point in facilitating the emergence of trusted leaders that are capable of endangering fairness, equity, peace, prudence, productivity in all facets of life for a just society. How do we achieve this? Our mission is to serve as a think tank in the emergence of reliable and creative leaders, achieving sustainable all-round developments through the concerted application of strategic policies and pragmatic coaching for the benefit of mankind. And distinguished ladies and gentlemen, especially for our guests and visitors who are joining us for the very first time, our core values as an institute are very clear. Number one is service, followed by consistency, ethical practices everywhere we find ourselves, professionalism, discipline, and very, very importantly, transparency. These core values will continue to guide us, will continue to lead us, and they will continue to be our guiding principles everywhere we go. At this point, I would like to call on the Registrar Chief Executive to please take over the microphone and take us through the code of conduct. Registrar Chief Executive, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, there, Mr. Akiloye, FILCS. We are glad to have you give us the intro and the protocols that you have already set. I would like to rest on the already stated protocol. However, I would like to greet the guest speaker of today, Dr. Taiwo Ajani, all the way from the USA, who has graciously agreed to share his knowledge in this area of his expertise. And we believe that today we'll gain more as we share ideas in this area. But before I leave this call, I'd like to lead us on our professional leadership code of conduct, which is our guiding principle. Please, as I say, you repeat after me that I, please put your name, Ifeoma Adeniyi, FILCS. I'm not hearing us. Please say after me.
Oh God.
Let's unmute ourselves. I, Olasukade Aziz, FILCS.
Yes.
As a professional member of the Institute.
As a professional member of the
Institute.
do solemnly declare and
Do
commit
solemnly
myself
declare
solemnly declare
and commit myself
and commit myself
myself
with myself
to the noble service of my community
to the noble
for the noble
service of my
service of my
community.
my
community,
community
of practice
of practice
of practice in
Practice.
my
above
community.
personal interest.
and all
above
personal
All
interests.
personal
personal
interests.
I will continually
Personal interest
I will
Will continually
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 seek to explore
seek to explore
seek
and
to
deploy
explore
and
to
deploy
explore and deploy
deploy
prudent means to serve or to
prudent
lead,
means to serve
prudent
or
means
lead,
to lead,
lead,
to lead,
develop and support
develop,
others,
develop and
develop,
support
and
others,
support others.
others,
and support others in all areas of influence
in all areas of influence,
areas
with
of influence,
fairness
with fairness and equity, Dr. Dakpo, you can take over if the network is freezing over there.
Okay, all right. So let's just go to the second stanza. That I, as a
That
true
I,
leader,
as a true leader,
pledge to serve with utmost good faith,
pledge to serve with almost good faith,
utmost good faith,
a strong sense of duty,
a strong sense of duty,
and an abiding spirit in all decisions,
an abiding spirit in all decisions,
guided by selfless commitment at all times.
guided by selfless commitment at all times.
3, that I affirm to carry out my daily responsibilities without fear or favor,
that I affirm to carry out my
daily responsibilities
without fear or favor,
devoid of corruption or fraudulent practices.
Devoid of corruption or fraudulent practices.
I will uphold the principles of equity, integrity, and transparency in the discharge of my obligations.
I will uphold the principle of equity, integrity, and transparency in the discharge of my obligation.
That I will preserve, protect, and defend the Institute Code of Ethics to the best of my ability.
That I will preserve, protect, and defend the Institute Code of Ethics to the best of my ability.
So help me God.
So help me God.
All right, great. Thank you so much to every one of us for going through that code of conduct. And like I did also mention, beyond just reciting it, it is our utmost belief and trust that as respected leaders, as coaches, as strategists, everywhere that we find ourselves, we will live to every letter of this conduct. And as God helps us, we will also step up to help ourselves. Thank you so much, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. So to take us further into the event for the day, as we continue to move forward very quickly, it is my pleasure, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, to welcome the President and Chairman of Council of our great institute in person of Dr. Olasunkade Azeez, as he gives his welcome address for the day. Over to you, Mr. President. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I will actually start with a quote by J.M. Barrie that goes thus: "Those who bring sunshine to the life of others cannot keep it from themselves." From this opening remark, I sincerely appreciate the Speaker of the Day for volunteering from all the way, I dare say it, all the way from America to be with us today. I sincerely appreciate making out time. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished fellows, esteemed members, our guest speakers, invited guests, all members of council here present. I can see the leadership too. I can see the vice president, the treasurer, the registrar, and of course, one of our highly respected fellow and council member, Mr. Tunde Adebayo, and all other significant individuals, invited guests and participants joining us across Africa and diaspora. It is both an honor and a privilege to stand before you today at the 7th monthly webinar series of the Institute of Leadership, Coaching and Strategy. We gather here today under a theme that could not be more apt and timely, that is, the AI, Artificial Intelligence Ready Leader, building strategy, trust, and innovation in ever-changing world. You all agree with me with the fact that we live in an era defined by rapid transformation, artificial intelligence, and it's no longer a distant concept. It is here, shaping governance, industry, redefining economy, and influencing the very fabric of human endeavor and interaction. Yet, technology alone does not guarantee progress of a nation, of an industry, of an economy. It is leadership that is visionary, ethical, and adaptive leader that determine whether AI become a force for empowerment or division. And AI-ready leader must, first of all, be a strategist. Strategy in this age is not about rigid plan, but about dynamic foresight. It requires leaders to, among others, one, anticipate change rather than react to it. Integrate technology into organizational vision with clarity and purpose. Balance innovation with sustainability, ensuring that progress does not come at the expense of people or planet. I'm happy that at ISCS, strategy is part of our mandate. And promoting it in various way, perspective, and context is a fulfillment and manifestation of one of our purpose of existence. Trust, you will agree with me, is a very important thing that we cannot do without. So in the light of that, we need to ensure fairness in the deployment of AI system. Not only that, we need to champion inclusivity so that no community left behind in the digital revolution. Innovation is not merely about adopting new tools. It is about cultivating a mindset. The AI-ready leader fosters an environment where creativity thrives, where experiment is encouraged, and where failure is seen not as a defeat, but as a stepping stone to turn the stumbling block into turning point, to turn the bleeding edge into a leading edge for discovery. You will agree with me that true innovation is human-centered, not technology-centric. It asks not only what technology can do, but what it should do for us. Call to action. As member of a great institute, our responsibility, among others, is clear, and they are: one, to equip organization with strategy that embrace AI responsibly, to mentor emerging leaders who will carry this torch forward to shape policy that ensure AI serve humanity's highest ideal. To handle this topical issue is no other personality than one of us, Dr. Taiwo Ajani, a US-based practitioner on AI, a respected fellow of the Institute, an international AI authority who is eminently qualified to lead the discussion, to sharpen our skill, and make us not only AI ready as leaders, but equally to motivate us to optimally utilize AI algorithm as a work tool for continuous relevance, higher productivity, and business continuity. Ladies and gentlemen, in closing, let us remember that leadership in the age of AI is not about machine replacing human, not at all. Rather, it is about human becoming wiser, more more ethical, and more visionary in how we use machine. Together, we can build a future where strategy is dynamic, trust is unshakable, and innovation is boundaryless. Thank you all, and may this webinar inspire us to lead with courage, clarity, and compassion in changing the world through the application and the resourcefulness of AI numerous utilitarian value to make a huge difference. It is now my distinct honor to invite and yield the space to our esteemed speaker, Dr. Taiwo Ajani, FILCS, to deliver his presentation. Once again, I say big thank you for listening and God bless you all. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Right.
Yes,
Thank you
sir.
so much, Mr. President and Chairman Governing Council of our Institute, for that speech and for also setting the tone for the conversation for today. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, for those who are just joining us, I'll say a warm welcome to us once again as we continue in the course of the event for today. So when I appeared earlier, the president was asking if today was a day for resource control. And I said, as leaders, or I thought, I didn't say, I thought that as leaders, and rightly so, every day we are saddled with that responsibility to determine how resources in our different spheres of control are allocated for business, for communities, for everywhere where we find ourselves. So we must be ready. We must be ready to ensure that as much as possible, resources are adequately and optimally utilized. And no better much time than to also look at AI, as AI continues to shape our community, as it continues to shape what we do. I think it's an interesting thing to also be AI ready, to be ready in every area that we have to influence. So, taking us further into the discussion and the conversation, the profile of our guest speaker, and I would like to truly appreciate the difference. But even immediately, we was the very person who was already quietly seated here and waiting for every one of us. So thank you, Dr. Taiwo. Guest speaker's profile: Dr. Taiwo Ajani is a data analytics educator, an academic leader, and an AI innovation practitioner who connects leadership, strategy, technology, and organizational transformation. He has experience applying AI tools to develop AI-enabled solutions, to build prototypes, productivity systems, and decision support ideas across education, healthcare, analytics, and entrepreneurship. For the ILCS Leadership Webinar Series, Dr. Ajani brings a practical and timely perspective on AI-ready leadership. This session will help leaders understand how to use AI strategically and responsibly to improve decision-making, national trust, while preserving people-centered leadership. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Taiwo has a very, very tall profile, but what we have done is just to summarize this so that we aptly sit back, listen to him, and suck the lessons for today in. So wherever you are, please, I just admonish us as usual, grab a cup of tea, a cup of coffee, if it's a bottle of water, your writing materials, as you please join me to welcome our speaker for today, Dr. Ajani, as he takes us through the session for this month. Thank you. Over to you, Dr. Ajani. Can we welcome him with an applause? Can give an applause wherever you are. Applause. Emojis, just use it to welcome our speaker. Thank you.
I am trying to share my presentation to
Okay. See. Do you have a permission to share? Have you been enabled to share? Okay, that's great. Let me bring down my own slide. Okay, there we go.
Can you see what I'm sharing?
Yes, we can see clearly. Thank you, sir.
Yes, it can.
All right. Thank you very much for the presentation, Dr. Oladapo and Dr. Aziz. As I was listening to Dr. Aziz's presentation, I thought that we don't even have to have any more presentation on this area because he nailed it on the head. He nailed it on the head. He said everything that needs to be said. But we'll still try to do our best to make this presentation, and hopefully we make it interactive. I want to thank everyone in the audience for your time this morning. I know you have places to go, things to do. I also want to thank the executive especially for this opportunity. I should thank you for this opportunity to make this presentation. So, the AI-ready leader, building strategy, trust, and innovation in a changing world. 35, 40 years ago, one of the classes that I took at the University of Ibadan was computer science. And the very first class, what the lecturer told us was, anyone that does not hop on the computer train is going to be left behind. As Dr. Aziz was talking in the very last line of his presentation, talks about not leaving our community behind. That threw me back, gave me a nostalgia back to almost 4 decades ago. In this day and age, I tell my kids to say, if you don't start using AI and learn to use it, that they will be left behind. And I believe in some ways I've inspired them to get on board. And as leaders, I think it's about time, if we have not already started that process, it is about time to get on the train. Because AI is not really about machine, as Dr. Aziz said. It's not about machine taking our jobs, but it's about us getting ready, learning how to use AI to improve our organization, to improve our communities, to improve the socio-economic systems that we all participate in. As we go through this, there are times that I may quickly hurry up. There will be times that I will slow down based on where we are, because this is a whole week or about 2 weeks presentation to leaders that I've shortened into about 45 minutes. So pardon me if I skip certain slides, but I promise you that all of these slides will be available to you at the end of the presentation. So why AI now? Why? Why do we need to talk about AI? Why do we need to talk about strategy? Why do we need to talk about trust and innovation with respect to AI? Well, artificial intelligence is transforming the way organizations operate, right? The days that we make decisions on intuition, those days are over. Today, we make decisions on the basis of historical data. And those historical data set that we have will not be enough for us to make decisions, except we are able to constantly use AI to monitor those data sets and use them as they come in so that we can make decisions very, very rapidly. If you look at the Apple phone that is assembled in Shanghai, China, some part of it, some chip is created in California. The screen is made somewhere in South Korea. And every one of those materials have to arrive just in time in Shanghai for them to assemble them together. Why is it just in time? Why have they moved away from the days where BlackBerry will keep inventory for 6 months or 1 year? It's because of the changes, the rapid changes that we're seeing on a daily basis. If you are an organization like Apple and you want to keep inventory today, tomorrow Samsung will come with something that beats, chips that beat, that is much faster than what Apple has. And as a result, they have to keep only what they are able to assemble within 2 hours. So constantly there are materials that are arriving in Shanghai on a day or every hour that need to be assembled and pushed out within 6 hours. That is where we are. That is how fast, how rapid things are changing. And because of that, as leaders that intend to make our organization to be competitive into the future, we need to be ready to use the tools that will make us to be able to make decisions very, very rapidly. So leaders should know what to do on Monday morning. This presentation, by Monday, we need to be at the place where we start thinking, what can I use AI for, and how can I be the leader in my domain? That is the whole essence of this presentation today. And if that's what we get from here, that would be great. And we should begin by framing AI as a leadership issue, because AI is really a leadership issue. The whole question is, which AI tool should we buy? Which AI tool should we deploy? To asking better questions. Where can AI improve decisions? Where can it improve speed, service, cost, learning without damaging trust? After all, information systems, the definition of it is that it's the hardware, the software, the telecommunication technology, the signals that we use, right, to collect, distribute data sets, disseminate data sets in order for our organization to be competitive. That is what information systems is. So AI is more or less an information system, right, that help us, or that we should deploy to help us do things more effectively and be more efficient, right? So it's to improve decisions. This is where we should be asking questions in this day and age, right? For instance, in the Nigerian example, how can we deploy AI to improve customer satisfaction, to enhance customer service, logistics routing, hospital triage? How do we use AI to monitor patients that are returning back to the hospital after being discharged 30 days, 60 days, right? Why are they returning back to the hospital so early after that, right? Because we want to maintain a quality of life, right? These are some of the things that we can use AI for, right? But we should emphasize that our readiness for AI is not really about procuring more tools, procuring software, and so on and so forth, because tool is just tool. Whether I use screwdriver or I use spanner to unscrew things in the house or at home or anywhere, right? They are just tools as long as they get the work done, right? However, what we should lay emphasis on is capacity building, capability building in terms of data, the data that we have, right? In terms of the processes in our organization, in terms of the people, the human aspect of technology, governance and culture, right? This is where we should be emphasizing, right? And you can see that I kept talking about competitiveness, right? Organization being competitive in their industry, in the socioeconomic systems, and so on and so forth. So the organizations that wins will not simply have more AI tools. They will have better leadership discipline around AI, right? And this matters especially now because Nigeria is entering its AI moment. This matters a lot. Nigeria's 5-year AI strategy horizon, where is it? Where is it going? Sometimes it's difficult to get very concise data in this area. However, what has been proven and what is very factual is that the mobile tech contribution to Africa's economy in 2025 was $240 billion. In 2030, the projected contribution as 4G, 5G, and AI expand will continue to improve, right? Conservatively, $290 billion, right? So Nigeria, being the most populous country, Matter of fact, about the 6th in the world right now. We are in a very good place, very great intersection to be able to benefit from this growth, this astronomical growth that is expected. But we have to make the point that we cannot and should not copy Silicon Valley, right? Nigerian organizations have their own peculiarities. We have our own peculiarities, and we should solve Nigerian problems with Nigerian operating realities in mind, right? Again, which area specifically can we mention here? In terms of financial inclusion, there is so much informal business going on a daily basis. How inclusive are our financial institutions in addressing the peculiar concerns and needs of these informal socioeconomic systems? Logistics, healthcare access to everyone, education, agriculture, public service. These are areas, I mean, the opportunity are just very, very open. These are areas in which as leaders, we can begin to impact the organization that we lead, right? Thus, indeed, AI becomes meaningful when it reduces friction in real market and real institutions. Where there is friction, where friction persists, those are pain areas, opportunity areas in which we can begin to deploy AI meaningfully as leaders. So what can AI already do across an organization? I'm sure that many of us participants here, we have seen how AI help us or can help us to see, to speak, to decide, to build, and to learn. Whether we are summarizing document, right? Whether we are trying to create support for our customers so we can retain them, so we can reduce churn rate, so we can reduce attrition rate, whether we are using it to prioritize cases within our organizations, right? Or build new prototype, or we want to change processes in our organization, right? Or we even want to just personalize training. AI can already do this. And we have so many examples to see. We can talk about Gemini and Canva. To speak, many of us, we use ChatGPT. Some are using Claude. Copilot is used. Power BI is used. Both of those used in decision-making, right? There are lovable Zapiers and so on and so forth that we use to build dashboards, applications. And if we have time, I will show some of the applications that I have helped to build for organizations, and many of them that are still ongoing with some of our partners. To learn, Notebook LLM, right? These are some of the tools that are out there. Matter of fact, we do not lack tools in this day and age, right? But again, like I said, tools are just tools, right? What is most important is the leadership and how the leadership frame what is important, how the leadership frame priority within the organization, and how leaders use guardrails to prevent misuse or abuse of AI within the organization. To guide that work, I've used what you would call STAIR. It's a simple framework. And this is where we're going to spend some time today. It's a simple framework that I've used step by step in creating, in strategizing, in building trust into AI, in pushing the adoption, not from my own perspective, but the perspective of the potential users, because we know in technology acceptance models, users need to approve whatever we are creating or developing. Matter of fact, 52% or more, a little more than that, of new innovations do not see the light of the day simply because potential users refuse to use them, right? So even before we adopt, there are things that we need to do, right? And then, of course, we need to be able to measure success, right? What are the key performance indices that we need to look at to make sure that what we have created is working within a smaller setting before we deploy it to larger department, to larger unit, and so on and so forth. These are very, very important. So STAIR, I would describe it as a leadership operating system that we can use as diagnostic tool, as workshop agenda, and as something that we can use to create a roadmap in AI adoption, implementation, and even build up. Okay. Strategy without trust create risk. I need for us to understand that too. When we have strategy and we don't build trust into it, there are a lot of risk, a lot of opportunity for misuse. When we have trust and we don't adopt, right? We end up creating policies that nobody will use, or even systems that nobody will use, right? And when we have that innovation already, and we don't have ways to assess them, what is working, what are the lessons that we can learn from what is working, so we can push that out. How do we adjust very quickly? If we don't have ways to assess what we are doing, we are not going to be able to move forward or anywhere. So let's pick them one by one. At this point, let me pause a little bit. Is there any question? All right. Thank you very much. So,
okay, so if we have any questions, please let's begin to drop it in the chat box. And after this session, Dr. Ajayi will also be available to take questions. But any questions that comes to mind at any point in time, please just drop them in the chat box. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
thank you, sir. So, strategy, leaders should be able to look at the organization. In which area can we start to think about AI, whether we want to adopt or we want to build out? Typically, high value target area are areas where we're trying to reduce cost, overhead, where we're trying to grow the revenue, where we're trying to improve customer experience, where we need to comply to government or governmental requirement and policies, where we need to make sure that our operations become more efficient and more effective, use of tools of operation, and the decision that we're making. We want to base it more on data. We want it to be data derived rather than to just base it on intuition in this day and age. We want to avoid just creating things for this. Oh, everyone is using a tool. My friends or a sister organization over there is using this tool. Oh, we want to use that tool as well because they said it works for them. What works for organization A may not necessarily work for my organization, right? So just picking any tool may not be wise for my organization. To help to decide that, the executive must ask questions, right? What are the decisions that are slow in our organization? What processes do we repeat? And as such, that we can automate, right? What are the risks that are existing that are not yet managed? Maybe there are opportunities for staff to mismanage funds, mismanage resources, right? What are the pains of our customer and how expensive, what cost are we paying for those? Customer may leave because they don't feel that served properly, right? Customer may leave nasty review for us on social media. What are those pains and how can we address them? When we can answer this question, we are, as leaders, we are one step ahead in understanding which AI tool will be specific for those problems, right? This is the kind of canvas I use to help leaders or leadership teams to move from just having interest in AI to deciding their priority use cases. Okay, let's make this concrete a little bit. The Nigeria Ready AI use case map, right? Banking and fintech, right? Fraud. And don't get me wrong, this in my work in machine learning and data sciences, we see this all the time. I've worked with a lot of accounting professionals who have data set and want to see how can they predict who is likely going to be making fraudulent claims ahead so that they can focus on that specific individual or group of individuals, right? So it's everywhere. So how can we use AI? These are areas in which that are ready that we can quickly say, okay, wait a minute. How can we use AI as leaders to minimize these pain areas? Healthcare, logistics, route risk, traffic, patterns, hold-ups everywhere. How can we use? I mean, this is some of the things that tools like Waze base their business on. Waze, Map, and so on and so forth. And now that all of these organizations are introducing more and more AI into their system, it's becoming much more better for users in terms of prescriptive analytics, prescribing. If I'm traveling through this route and there's an issue there, the system prescribes to me 2 or 3 other routes that I can take, right, in order to safeguard the properties that I'm trying to deliver. Education, whether tutoring, early alert system, for instance, here, I've developed system for here in the United States, they do what you call NCLEX. NCLEX is the examination that nurses do after their schooling, that they have to take those examinations before they can start practicing. One of the things that we have developed for this area is how can we improve the way people study and learn in order to pass their examination at one sitting. So we have done that in education. And I'm going to go to the next one now, trust. We have to know and understand that governance is not the bureaucracy. Governance is protecting our brand, right? It is protection for our customers and our credibility as leaders, right? Those four forms: data trust, decision trust, people trust, customer trust. You will notice that people trust keeps coming up all the time, right? Because we are very central to everything. When I hear AI is going to take our jobs and so on and so forth, I say, I don't think so. We will have to retrain ourselves for opportunities that AI will bring, because at the center of all of this is the human component, right? So in building out new AI, or in preparing for leadership role in AI, the data that we want to use to solve a certain problem, is that data accurate? Is that data lawful? Is that data representative? Because we have seen a situation where data set that were trained on certain demography in the society are being used for everyone else. And as a result, we see how it unjustifiably preclude or exclude certain demography because of the way that data was used in developing new system. So as leaders, we have to pay attention to this, right? Who is going to review the output that we have? Here is where we must have that cop or police, right, within the organization. Someone in the organization that needs to look at the output from our AI to review it, to make sure that we get output that are trustworthy. Otherwise, our brand is at stake, right? Will our staff see AI as empowerment, or will they see it as surveillance, right? This is where it is very dicey, right? Because if people in the organization don't use AI, right, we are back to square one, right? So we have to educate, right, that this is an empowerment to help you to do your work better, to be more efficient, rather than it surveilling you or looking at what you're doing, how many hours you spend in the office, and so on and so forth, right? And can we explain, appeal, and correct mistakes when customers have trust issues? We have seen it. There was something that happened less than 2 years ago. It's United Healthcare. Maybe we all heard the news. United Healthcare, they were having a program in New York. And early in the morning, the gentleman was walking from his hotel to the program about 6 a.m. or thereabout, and someone came behind him and shot him to death. The person that did that, the problem that they had with that person as a representative of United Healthcare is that they believe that AI is being unjustifiably used to exclude certain demography. People who have cancer, who may be poor, who have this and that. AI, that person believed that United Healthcare as an insurance organization is using AI to prevent that people from being treated at the hospital because United Healthcare was allegedly trying to save money. And this gentleman put it upon himself to go and attack, right? We have to make sure that customer trust what we are using AI for, right? Practical checklist for leaders that we should apply before we deploy. Every AI use case, right? Trust checklist. Business owner must be identified, right? Who owns? Here I will put this on the executive, right? The executive owns the project. The executive is the sponsor of the project, okay? Because they have to approve an AI project before you start. They provide the funding for it, right? And they must understand, what are we going to be using this AI for? Why are we prioritizing on this? Because we know that typically there are so many competing areas in the organization that we need to spend resources on. Why are we prioritizing on this, right? And how far are we ready to go, right? Privacy is very important. How do we safeguard the privacy of our client or customers? How do we make sure that we reduce bias? And it's part of our ethics as business leaders, right? We don't want to introduce error or something that may be perceived by our customer as a trust issue, right? We need to be able to measure performance. We need to be able to provide training. Do we have resources to provide training? Maybe to 1 or 2 people in the organization, and then those will go ahead to start training others within the organization, right? How do we escalate issues along the value chain when there are trust issues, right? These are some of the things that we need to have in place under trust in order to establish good trust with every stakeholder. Adoption, human side, we've gone back and forth to talk about it, right? Building literacy, letting people know what AI can do, where it can fail, learning how to prompt, right? And how to verify. AI, we know once we start thinking about AI, our mindset about the organization will start changing, because AI will change your routine, whether we like it or not. AI, once we start adopting it, it will change our routine. It may change our workflow. It will change the confidence that we have in our operation. And of course, roles may change within the organization. People may have additional roles. We may need to bring in someone to play certain roles. Power may change, because the more knowledge, the more role that you give to someone who is knowledgeable, the more power they tend to have, right? And this is why adoption, right, especially on the human side, must be led very, very deliberately. We have to be deliberate in the adoption so that we're not giving too much power to those that may misuse it or abuse it, right? Do not dismiss the concerns of the users, the staff, right? If they don't perceive it as being useful, if they don't perceive it as being easy to use, those two constructs are used in technology acceptance models: perceived ease of use, perceived usefulness. If that concern persists, we have issue, right? But as leaders, we must be ready to provide resources. Sometimes we also must be the trainer, right? We must provide resources to lead training effort, to communicate and create safe spaces where lingering concerns can come, right? To those safe spaces, questions are answered, and we keep learning through the process, because learning in AI adoption is iterative, right? It's constant, right? Right. Prompting is not enough. We must learn to verify. A lot of people today will say, oh, I can prompt quickly, but we must verify the information that we are getting. A friend of mine invited me to a consultancy about a year ago. I said I didn't have time to join them, and he took a massive job in West Virginia, and based on his knowledge, put data set in AI and gave him output and all that. And he asked me, what do you think? I told him, I can bet that everything that you have done is going to give you problem. And I pity everyone that is in your organization, because when that blowback comes, you're not going to be able to address it, because AI is garbage in, garbage out. If you don't know the steps that you need to take to verify what it is spitting out for you, you could be finding yourself in a problem. So we have to verify, right? We have to make judgment decisions ethically. We have to make sure that we are not excluding certain demography or certain understanding of the concept that we are trying to establish. All right. So once people understand why we are adopting this AI, what we need to do, they're willing to learn, well, we're ready to pilot or to develop a demo, right? Develop a demo and then to start piloting it within the organization, right? Again, even as I'm talking, I want you to start thinking about your organization. What are the pain points that you have seen within your organization in which you feel or that you know that information systems and AI especially can help you to address those, right? What are those problems? What are those pain points, right? We've got to define that baseline as leaders, right? And then what metrics are we going to use, right, to start looking at or start assessing the gains, quote, the gains from our AI deployment, right? Many AI projects fail because they stop at excitement stage or so-called demo stage. Oh, we are excited about this, but it just fizzles out, right? Because still, this process we're going through was not properly established, right? So we have to walk through this step by step, STAI, right? Okay, all right. So some of the things that we also have to look at to make sure that we don't fizzle out in the way is the guardrails, right? And again, there are many information systems that are failed out there because once they start building, everyone in the organization wants to have this button. They want to have this capability put in. They want to have this and that. We need to be very lean when we start, right? Developing our demos and pilot. We need to be lean. Pick one pain point and address that issue. The rule of thumb is let it be small enough so that you can control risk. But let it be important enough so that when you start measuring, success actually matters. And what you learn, you can push or scale it up to the bigger part of your organization, maybe to bigger unit, bigger department, and so on and so forth, right? To decide whether something works, we must measure results, right? Result must be measured, right? And these are areas in which we can measure result. In terms of value, this AI that we have tried to demo and adopt, is it going to lift our revenue? Is it going to help us to cut cost? Are we going to save hours on operation, right? Are we going to totally avoid certain costs? Are we going to improve on quality? Some of the things that we've done work for a Southeastern United States hospital system, about 80 hospitals, in improving the quality of care through the introduction of machine learning, data science, and AI into their processes, improving quality, right? In the area of adoption, we can measure how many active users do we have? How many did we have before adoption? How many do we have currently, right? Can we repeat this? How many people, users, clients, customers are coming back to use this product, this AI product, right? How many are completing training, right? Depending on which domain this AI is, if it's in education, so on and so forth. And of course, you know, we can, there trust is there are ways to then trust, risk, and learning. So, to be, I'm going to move a little bit faster here and go. Okay. So we've talked about steer. I have used AI builders in this field. Plain English letter simplification in health, as I mentioned earlier. Student support, earlier alert concept. We're still working on that right now. Clinical judgment coaching in creating dashboards, market-facing prototypes, data-driven decision support, and etc. The new advantage for leadership, right? The new advantage is not just coding, right? It's not about coding. It is how we translate the pain of business into a testable product very quickly. I said earlier that we should each start thinking about areas in which we may have pain in our businesses and organizations and how we can use AI, right? The executive, the leadership will need someone who can help them to translate, right? Who understand strategy, data, people, and practical AI implementation, right? They may need that, especially in the early stages, I don't know whether to wait for question time to use practical examples from my own, but if I quickly talk about it, one of the problems that we saw in an organization was, even though people can read, we can write, sometimes the language of business can contain too many jargons that may be very difficult for customers to relate to. And they wanted us to see how we can help them to solve such problem. it was in the education domain. However, the moment that problem was solved, we saw that, wait a minute, we can actually scale this up to the legal system, data analysis, and so on and so forth. And we went on to expand that. You see that in the practical example that I will use during the question time. So customers did not understand letters that are coming from schools, from the legal organizations, and we develop a system, right, that could help customers to quickly understand the content of those letters in a nutshell. The AI solution was to simplify, translate, summarize, and extract deadlines within those letters and present it in a very simple format that the typical user can understand. Of course, the main organization that we built the first one for was able to reduce calls from parents. They were able to resolve situation very, very much faster. There were fewer errors. People were saying, oh, we are satisfied with this and so on and so forth. Why it works? This can work anywhere. Many organizations, we have customers that may have anxiety because of what we offer them. There are so many other competitors in our field of operation. And as a result, when customers have anxiety with our processes, with the product we offer, we can easily churn. We can easily lose them, right? But systems like this can help to enhance communication with customers without necessarily inundating our organization with questions all the time, right? Customers can go on that system and quickly use the system to solve their own problem, right? So I'm going to jump to here, the Leaders AI Readiness Scorecard. Okay. As a leader on Monday morning, if I'm thinking about issues in my organization and what to address first, most organizations will have this: strategy, data, governance, people, technology, measurement. The goal is to rate each of these, right, on a Likert scale, 1 to 5, 5 being the highest. Do not average the score, right? What is the weakest dimension within the organization? Strategy may have 5, data may have 1, governance may have 3, and all that. The one that scores the least, right, is where we want to start first, right? That is where we want to start first. How can we address issue in these areas, right? This scorecard can become the starting point for a quick AI readiness diagnostic, okay? I know my time is up now. I'm very sorry. I said earlier that this is a 2-week presentation that we are rushing through, but I will stop here. But as I stop here, I want you to look at these questions. Where are our 3 biggest decision bottlenecks as leaders? Which customer staff pain should or could AI improve in 90 days? What data do we already have and that we can trust to use? What AI decisions must always involve human review, right? Because we need a cop to manage that in order to keep building up on trust. Who owns AI governance in our organization, right? Who is the product owner? How are we going to measure value, risk, and adoption, right? AI will not replace leadership. It will reveal leadership. So I will piggyback on what Dr. Aziz mentioned earlier. We should lead with strategy. We should build with trust, and we should innovate with discipline. Thank you very much. I open the floor for questions and discussion.
Wow. Great. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for doing this. We do truly appreciate this. And I know there are questions and contributions all waiting to come in. I've seen one or two comments or questions in the chat box, but we'll just take them quickly, as quick as possible. Okay, lovely. I do know that everyone has their notes full, as usual. So much to take away. But we are so excited and grateful to you, Dr. Taiwo Ajani, because you've also mentioned that you'll be sharing this presentation for us. It's something we need to go back and continue to look into. And as we apply this in our different areas and spheres of control. So thank you so much. AI is not a tool that will win, but leadership and decision are the tools that will drive it. Very, very important. AI will not replace leadership, but it will reveal leadership. Those are important and highlights and nuggets we're picking out of this. Start small with AI, then scale. But wherever you are starting from, make it important so that you can really measure impact. Very, very important. AI will also help us in translating business pain into visible testimonials if we use it properly. I also love the STAIRS acronym. Very, very important. It's a framework that we can use in different areas of our business to drive change, to bring about innovation, and so many, many, many more. We do truly appreciate this. Okay, so we'll open the floor for questions. There's already one question in the chat box, and when you were saying you wanted to share a case, I see that also immediately aligning to this question here. So let's start with that, and I think it will be a good place to. So this question here from Olubumi Oni. All right, Madam HOS, from my HOS, Oyo State. Thank you so much. Sir, we need more of physical application. How do I use AI to assist me in human resources? For example, how do I apply AI in the area of promotion, discipline, welfare in the public space? Please use a case study. So a good place to use that case study and to address this quickly, sir. Thank you so much. Others, if you have questions, please drop them in, and at some point, I'll give us opportunity to raise our hands to unmute and speak. Dr. Ajani, thank you so much.
Yes, okay, so I have not specifically. Thank you very much for that question. I have not specifically used AI in human resources. However, it's very, that question is very, very important. Trying to, okay, let me stop sharing this and find some of the things that I've done with AI. PowerPoint. Okay. All right. Can you hold a second, sir?
Okay.
So many things open here.
Okay, if you still have questions or
All right.
contribution, okay, please go ahead.
So how can we use AI in human resources? Okay, so as human resources leaders, earlier I said we should start thinking about pain point, right? So let's apply some of the things that we have looked at here. What would be the pain point in your organization as an HR person? What would be a typical pain point?
So for instance, let's take discipline from what the questioner said. How do you use AI in the area of instilling discipline in the workplace?
Within the workforce. Okay. All right. So this question will be better addressed. Again, you know, I said earlier, I said that users are very, very important when it comes to instituting new AIs, right? And their understanding of their domain is very, very important. Typically, when we walk into an organization, some of the questions that we ask are based on the pain point. In this case, discipline. What are these disciplinary issues that are within the organization? What data set exists that we can use to start looking at the development of AI for to monitor those. Now, if I use my example, when I used to work a lot with other as junior worker in those years, I'll see people just getting on the internet, doing work that they are not supposed to be doing. Sometimes they are doing work outside the domain, or they are checking out other websites and so on and so forth. Now, this is where we have to be careful, right? Because we could install AI systems that can actually monitor, right, and collect data on where people are going when they are working online. It's taking information about the URL, the time they're spending on those websites, what they are looking at, and how much time accrues or that it takes away from the operational time that individual should have within the organization. It takes all of this information. The problem that we have seen with that is when workers feel that they are being surveilled, right? When they feel that they are being monitored, their efficiency, right, diminishes, because now they find other ways to pretend as if they're working, when by just having that system open and going back and forth every now and then without really working. Matter of fact, there are research out there that when we don't survey workers, they tend to be much more effective, and they tend to be much more trusting of the leadership than when we start surveying them. So we got to be careful that we are not looking at that. If I know exactly what are the disciplinary issues that you have in your organization, for instance, this one thing that somebody told me a long time ago. They have businesses in Nigeria where they move, they help with logistics here and there. And they discover that when those big 18-wheel trailers, when they go out to go deliver things, maybe in the north, everywhere, that the driver goes, or the drivers generally, will go somewhere else, right? And they will pretend that the truck got bad, and then 2-3 days they were fixing it, and so on and so forth. Well, we are in this day and age, we can use chips, right? Sensors, right? That we can put together with geolocation application that can tell us where this truck is every time that it's out. And as a result, that information relay back to the headquarters on a regular basis, and we can monitor those drivers. That's one disciplinary issue that we can use AI to solve, right? What that person is trying to solve in the trucking business will be different from what, say, we may want to solve in a government public service organization or in the private. So, for instance, in non-governmental organizations. So I'm just using these examples because I don't know the specificity of the HR question where the organizations come from. So, but for non-governmental governmental organization where people may need to solicit for funds, right? Using existing historical data set regarding those who have given money before, how much they gave, how much they are willing to give in the future, disposable income that they have, and so on and so forth. Based on that data set, right, it is possible that you have some disgruntled element within the organization that can decide to hijack that data. Data is gold for such an organization. If that is hijacked, that is your proprietary information that is hijacked. You can't do anything after that. How can we make sure that those staff members, that they have access only to information that is important to them, so that even when they steal a part of the information, you still have the larger part of your information? Or we could build redundant systems, right? Systems that make that in which we can keep pieces of that historical data set, right, in many places, such that even if one source fails, other sources can bring in the data set that we are missing as a result of this disgruntled element. Those are the ways that we can typically work in HR to fix problems like that. So I don't know if that answers your question.
Great. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, Dr. Dani. Can I just recognize the President, Chairman of Council? I think you just want to have an addition, especially to this topic, since it's an HR. President, sir, if you can unmute and speak quickly.
It's okay. Thank you very much. I most sincerely appreciate our speaker for the day. He has actually been eminently confirmed his credentials when it comes to AI. The area I want to is just an addition, not that he has not done justice to it. The issue of HR, maybe because I'm an HR person. As I always tell people, AI is not there to take a job. Rather, we are there to use AI to really improve our work process, work procedure, standard operating procedure, and what have you. Concerning HR disciplinary administration, I think AI could actually be a veritable tool for us. First of all, by generating all the behavioral pattern in line with the either civil service, public service, corporate, private sector, or what have you, to codify document that bring together all the behavioral pattern, all the scenario, state the gravity of the offense, and then the verdicts that each of them are assigned to that are commensurate with the gravity of the offense done. We can actually use that to have an idea of a document, a booklet that we actually need to use as a reference point, rules of engagement, whether in the public service or in the private sector. Not only that, when we're also onboarding new staff, we can generate a lot of ideas through AI to make our onboarding very easy that will enable and also, how would I call it, facilitate a head start for any new journey in any organization. On issue of promotability can also be a veritable data analytics tool or instrument we can actually use to collate.
Hello? Hello?
All right. Thank you so much, President, for those comments. And all right, because of time, we will still possibly take one or two comments on the go as we continue.
Thank you.
Oh, President. Okay. Thank you so much. So if you still have
yes,
a comment,
I need the floor. So we can use all those things to actually make AI be our willing tool, supporting tool, and at the same time an instrument to galvanize and also to actually make HR. In the area of promotion, we can use it to gather record, to track record, and at the end of the day, for decision making at the highest level, whatever we have gathered, we can actually use it to make it happen. Thank you. That's just my little addition to what Dr. Taiwo Ajani has actually submitted. Thank you. I yield the floor,
Thank
the
you.
coordinator.
all right. Thank you so much,
Thank
President. Thank you, President. Okay, so again, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I am very, very, very pretty sure that our erudite speaker and subject matter expert for today has done a very, very fantastic job. So I'd like us to appreciate him once again as much as we can. Please go to the emojis and let's begin to use even AI from here. There are so many tools here. There are so many icons that we can use just to show appreciation. Thank you so much for your time. We know you will still be here as we round up the session over the next couple of minutes, just in case we have any question or comments before we let you go. But we do truly appreciate you for doing justice to this topic. One key thing you left with on your last comment is trust. Trust, especially for us as leaders, whether in HR, in healthcare, in logistics, everywhere. Leadership is about trust. And whenever we use AI or we employ AI to help us in delivery, let's also ensure that we don't lose that place of trust as leaders. Fantastic. Thank you so much, sir. So as we continue to take the program to a halt, I will quickly want to do a quick recognition. I know we've established protocols earlier, but we have two of our distinguished fellows that I quickly want to recognize here. First, I'd like to recognize Chief Mrs. Olubomi Oni. Apparently, she was even the one that asked that question. Mrs. Oni is the immediate past head of service of Oyo State, and she has been a very, very strong promoter of the Institute with a passion. Thank you for your presence, Mrs. Oni.
You're welcome, sir.
I also like to recognize Mr. Tunde Adebayo, who is our chairman of the Coaching and Capabilities Committee of our council. Thank you also for your time here. All right. So as we move along, A few other things to note as we begin to drive the session to a close. Like we did announce earlier, for as many who will be interested in securing the certificate of attendance for this very exciting session, the e-certificate is available. It's available, and it is available for a token price of 10,000 naira only. I'll be displaying the code and the barcode with which we can use to make payments directly into the institute account. Please, if you are interested in this certificate for today's session, it can be made available, and you can get your copy by making payment into the account. So quickly, I will display that as we continue. A few other announcements as we continue to, okay, the next induction of our institute, that will be the last induction for the year 2026, will be coming up in the last quarter of the year 2026. Our last induction for the year will be coming up in the last quarter of the year 2026. The exact date will be announced to us very soon. But if you would like to to join the membership of this institute, please, as quick as possible, make haste and get the forms and begin to do the needful. The inauguration of the 2026-2027 committees of council. We have different committees of council for our great institute. The inauguration of the committees will be coming up sometimes later in this month of July. So please, for those who have indicated interest already, just watch out this space. For those who are still interested, there are different committees on which we can serve as members of this distinguished committee. So please look out for the different committees and make yourself available. Like our president, we always say, you can either contribute your time, you can contribute your talent, and you can also contribute your treasure. And why not? You can also contribute the three as leaders of the institute. So watch out and see where you can be of service to the institute. Okay, at this point, we have about 7 minutes to the end of this session. The quarterly webinar continues as usual. It's a webinar for the month of August. We already have a date. It will be coming up on the 6th of August, 2026. Please plan to attend, and we would like everybody to please invite a friend, bring in someone to come and learn. I will leave us with this quote, even as I begin to wind down. And I'll be inviting very soon the Vice President of our institute, Dr. Odukoya, who will be coming to first thank our speaker for today and thank all members, and also begin to wrap up the session for today. But I got this beautiful quote somewhere, and which really resonates with our learning series. And it says, education is not just about the learning of facts, but education is the training of minds in decision-making and influencing. Education is not just about the learning of facts, but it is the training of mind, and also as leaders using education that we have gained to influence and to make better decisions. So today we've been here for another learning session, another exciting one, and we've learned so much about AI. and the impact it can make, and the impact we can, and the difference we can use this as leaders to make in our different areas and spheres of life. It is not just the education we've gotten here today, but what we go out there and make of it. So on this note, I'd like to appreciate every one of us once again for joining. And I also want us to, as much as possible, go out there, use what we have learned today, make a difference, and continue to make an impact. On this note, I'd like to welcome the Vice President, Dr. Odukoya, to please take the mic and bring the session to a close after the vote of thanks. Dr. Odukoya, please. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so very much, Dr. Akinloye. You have done a very beautiful job of anchoring this program beautifully. I hope you can hear me, please.
Clearly, sir, we can hear you.
So I really want to appreciate you. And I want to thank, of course, permit me to stand on the established protocol. But even with the protocol, I still need to recognize my amiable president and the person of Dr. Olasokade Aziz, and then the registrar for the indefatigable work and they've put into, making this webinar a regular thing. I really appreciate their effort. It has been really awesome and wonderful. And again, want to thank God for making this webinar a reality, for giving us health, for giving us peace in the land, peace in our homes. We cannot but acknowledge God in everything we do. So we give thanks unto God for the wonderful weather, for the peace in the land, and for making this webinar a reality. And then next to that, I want to deeply appreciate our lead presenter, Dr. Taiwo Ajayi. I hope I got the name right. I really, really appreciate this dimension of presentation you made today. I'm one of those who is really interested in the advent of AI because it's changing the narrative, in fact, causing a lot of disruption in the entire system, and I like the way you presented it. And somebody asked a pertinent question, which should be a follow-up. You've given us a tip of the iceberg of, I just finished a training actually on AI usage recently. I paid about, close to $10. And what I learned within the 6 hours I went through that program is part of what we are talking about, automation. They taught me a lot of things within the 6 hours. And I feel everybody should actually go for that program too, to further, because the way things are going, anybody who is not up to date with the use of AI will be left behind, because it's actually accelerating the speed of achievement all around the globe. We shouldn't be over dependent on AI, quite all right, but we need to leverage on using AI within any sector we are. And that is why I want to appreciate you again very much on behalf of the Institute of Leadership and Coaching and Strategy. We want to deeply appreciate you, Dr. Taiwo Ajayi. And I want to believe that we see how we can actually translate. Huh? Am I missing out something?
Please go ahead.
Ajani.
Okay, good.
Ajani.
So we want to deeply appreciate you so much. And next to that, like I've already expressed our position to my president, I want to repeat it again. I can't overflog it because the president has actually done a wonderful, wonderful job. And then the registrar too, in the person of Barrister Ifeoma Adeniyi. The Lord bless you mightily. And I want to also recognize the presence of the governing council, all the founding members of the Institute, those online, that have been in this program, and those who are not even able to make it to today's program. We deeply appreciate every one of you. I want all the council chairman, especially my brother, Mr. Tunde Adebayo. I want to appreciate your presence. Mrs. Oni, all the way from Oyo State, I want to really appreciate your presence on this platform. And then all the fellows and members of the IRC, yes, I want to appreciate every one of you. And then, of course, our guests online, we actually been, we are looking forward to having you on board at the next induction. So we really want to appreciate everyone that has made this program a huge success. The Lord bless every one of you, and the Lord continue to enlarge our crust in Jesus' name. God bless you. Thank you very much again, and over to you, MC.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Adebayo Odukoya, for that vote of thanks. And distinguished ladies and gentlemen, come to the end of this session. It's a wrap. It's 1 p.m. in Lagos, Nigeria, like we did promise. This program was going to run between 11 o'clock in the morning and 1 p.m. this afternoon, and we've kept to that. This would not have been possible without our contributions, without our participation, and this brings us to the end of the session for July. I'll see you again in August, and together we come and do this again. Thank you. Have a brilliant, beautiful, good day ahead. Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Akinloye. Thank you, Dr. Banjo. We'll recognize the presence of Mrs. Fabanwo, Professor of the Institute of Qatar Institute of Personnel Management of Nigeria. Thank you for joining us, Madam. God bless you, ma'am.
Thank you, Madam, for joining us. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for joining us, Ms. Fabanwo, FCPM, the one-time chairman of Lagos State Service Commission. Really appreciate your attendance, ma'am.
I also want to recognize the presence of my co-facilitator, Mrs. Oluwatoyin Akapo.
Who is that?
Mrs. Akapo.
She made it.
I understand
it.
she's an event today. Yeah,
I don't know. I didn't know she was there.
She eventually joined. Yeah.
Registrar, thank you. Dr. Dapo, thank you. Oluwatoyin Adekute Akapo, Princess, thank you. Everybody, thank you. Mama, thank you for everything. Really appreciate it. It was a success. A successful thing.
Good one.
As
Thank you
usual.
so much.
Thank you.
Thank you very
Mr.
much,
Bokas.
everyone.
Thank you,
I appreciate you, my president.
All right.
God bless you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Tony Akapo.
Yes,
A great leader and passionate member of the Institute. You are always recognized. Thank you for everything you've been doing.
Thank you for joining.
Love you. You are sure.